So today's project is actually reminded me, and it was inspired by those glass rocks that you normally find at like Michael's or like your craft store, the ones that you find in a little bag or like a plastic container that you can put really anywhere. You can put them in aquariums, you can put them outside, whatever. So it was inspired by that. So I wanted to figure out how I can create something very, very festive and sort of is kind of like an ode to that kind of colorful scheme, if that makes any sense. So you don't have to use these colors here. You can use any colors you'd like. So it really just depends on you. I'm going to, okay, so I want to just sort of point out what I did within this piece. So I started off using markers actually. And I know I mentioned needing a brush. If you have any brand, but washable markers, if you actually put water on top of it, it'll look a whole lot like a watercolor painting. And you can actually use them in much the same way that you use those Tombow markers that we always talk about. It's the same thing. So watercolor effects using the washable markers on paper. So what I did was I started off with one color at a time and colored in a bunch of circles. And then after that, I took a brush. However, if you don't have a brush, you can use a cotton swab. So just your regular plain old Q-tip if you have those. So either brush or cotton swab. And then you apply water on top of it, one color at a time, swirl them around, and it ends up looking a little bit more like a watercolor painting. So after that, there is a little bit of letting it dry. So we do have to do that, let it dry. And then we'll add some pen on top of it to give our rocks some shape. And let me put this a little closer, but I even drew just a few smaller rocks in between. I did make sure to overlap some of these colors because, if you have a pile of rocks and they're all clear, you're going to have some overlap in color. It just makes sense. So don't be afraid to overlap and get a little creative with it too. Like I said, you don't have to use those colors exactly. And if you wanted to, you could just limit yourself too. So, and honestly, I always tell myself that I'm going to limit myself, and I don't do that because I just like all the colors, but that's okay. If you go crazy with it in the end, that's okay too. I wanted to give also an alternate idea for anybody who does not have markers or does not have watercolors, because you can use watercolors too instead of markers. Like Susie, I know Susie, you purchased your watercolor set last week.
Yeah.
And so if you wanted to use that instead of markers, you totally can use it almost the same way. However, if you don't have access to wet media, you can do something similar using colored pencil. So it's a very similar idea. I just colored it in using the colored pencil and a cross-hatching technique. So if there's anybody here who has a colored pencil instead and would like to use that instead, then let me know and I can always show you how to do that. But anyway, that's just for anybody who doesn't have this media. So
do you use it a medium for the colored pencils?
Do I use the what?
A medium, because I know there's a medium for using with pencils, colored pencils, and can some blend. Also, they say you can use some alcohol for blending the water pencil.
Oh, yeah.
You use it?
Yeah, I don't use a medium. No, in fact, I don't think I've ever used a medium actually. I think it's usually just, for the watercolor, I just use the water, and for the color pencil, I just cross hatch it. Yeah. Yeah, but if you have any suggestions of what I can try later, I love that. Love art supplies.
color pencil course. So, and they say they use the medium. Also, they say you can use some alcohol for blend the colors. So I didn't try yet, but it's something I was wanted to do.
Oh, you know what? I might actually, if we have a little downtime, I have some alcohol here, like rubbing alcohol. I might try that a little bit.
Yes, I didn't eat already, but
Uh,
it's something I want to experiment.
hey, no, yeah, I'm all about the experiments, but so here's what I'll do. I'll get y'all started on the activity, and then we'll have fun
Yeah.
from there. I'd love to. I actually always keep rubbing alcohol and alcohol inks right next to me, just in case I ever want to, do something with it on the fly. Okay, so okay, so I have my markers. So for anybody wanting to do the markers, let's go ahead and get started with that. So I'm going to start off with just a few colors and then maybe grow from there. So I'm actually really feeling the teal today. So I'm going to do teal. And I don't know, I'm just throwing things out here. Maybe I can keep it like a cooler palette. We'll see. I like the way some colors overlap, and I like to see like a surprise, just when colors overlap and you're not really expecting it to mix nicely. Let's just kind of throw in a bright color right there. So your paper definitely doesn't have to be as big as mine is. If you're going the watercolor route, then usually I recommend using like a watercolor paper or cardstock, even if you have cardstock. So either one will work, but if you happen to have regular paper, that's okay too. It'll just kind of crumple a little bit, just so you know, because it's water on top of that kind of thin paper. Very first thing we'll do, I always like to just sort of outline my general area. So most of my rocks are going to be centered kind of in the middle. I do a lot of pointing. I always like to figure out where I'm going to go first. So I'm just going to start in the middle. We will do one color at a time. And your glass rocks don't have to be this big if you don't want them to be. They don't have to be, I mean, they can be smaller if you want them to, that's okay as well. And I'm putting them in different areas. That way I can have a nice even spread of these colors. I didn't really mean to have these in a row. They're not supposed to be in a row. So maybe I always like to sort of look for patterns. That way I can either continue a pattern or take away the pattern, because I don't normally like to have patterns in my pictures. Normally I care more about symmetry and the way it, I don't know, just having it look a little bit differently. But if you like the patterns that you're seeing, then I say go for it. So this is probably the easiest part. If you have your own method of doing things, and by all means, go for it. It's also important to know that your circles, once we start putting water on top of it, they're probably going to get a little bit bigger, just because it's just how things go when we're doing this kind of thing. So just kind of keep that in mind. It also helps that they get bigger because we want a little bit of overlap too. We want some things to overlap. Do I have any questions? I put that one really close to that one. No questions so far?
No. Do they have to be round?
No, they can be different shapes too.
Like oval?
Yeah, yeah. Bean shaped, maybe, whatever you want.
Yeah.
Hi, Brandy. I saw your name pop up, so I want to say hi. Hi, Marianne. I don't think I said hi to you too, Marianne. Good to see you both.
Hi.
There you are, Brandy. Hello. Good to have you all here. Let me see. Let me just put one here. Must have something underneath it. There. I do like the idea of having like some that are not quite so round, just a little off shape. So I'm gonna stick with that. That works for me. And then while we're doing that, I'm going to take another sheet of paper and draw a couple of circles using color pencils. Because why not? Let's see. Maybe I'll move a little further along first. Did anyone do anything creative this week?
I did.
Who was that? Who said I did?
Me. Judy.
Oh yeah. What happened? What'd you do?
I'm still on the saga of wedding. The
Yep.
wedding's in 2 weeks.
Ooh.
About 10 years ago or so, I used to do fairy gardens.
Oh.
They're not as popular as they used to be, but I used to start in nursing homes where my mother was, and I would give the older people spoons, and we do these plantings, and then they turned into bigger fairy gardens or whatever. And I used to do them as gifts and whatever. But I made one for my daughter for her wedding. I'll show you.
Oh, I've always wanted to make a fairy garden. That's so cool.
A little congested. Right
Oh.
now, the other one is the other round thing is in use. I don't know whether you can see this. Let's see.
Oh,
That's great.
It's a bride
that's
and
lovely.
and everything in it is used in her wedding. There's lace from her wedding, from a bouquet. There's the spray painted stones I used for the centerpieces. The pottings have all the artificial flowers in it I've used for certain things. It's got just a couple little floral watering plants in it. If you like sunflowers, I found something there. She's not having a cake, she's having donuts. So I found donuts and glued them onto the cake.
I love it. Donuts.
I don't know whether you can see that. Let's see.
I love it.
It can't even, it's hard to, but what's kind of neat is the moss. I use different colored moss. And so like this is purple and it's different kind of textures or whatever. But I do have a stone in there that's kind of what we're doing today. I used to use a lot of different those kind of stones, and I found one that's kind of got a rainbow in it, and she likes rainbows. So.
Oh, that's so cool. It looks so elaborate.
Absolutely beautiful, Judy.
Yeah.
Well, it helps with. I used to do them when I get home from work, and it would help me relax.
Oh man.
It's kind of like miniature gardening, And when I did them in the nursing home, when people had dementia, I'd put things in it that would help spur conversations with the elderly, and so you can do a lot with fairy gardens. They're not as popular as they used to be, but.
Well, donuts, my type of wedding. Donuts, yum.
I know.
Yeah. I love cake, unfortunately.
I would do the donuts. I love donuts.
Honestly, I would do the donuts too.
Yeah.
I love that. I love your garden, Judy. I really do. It's
Thank you.
honestly, I feel like it's making me want to make one because
Well,
I've always wanted to.
with the weather, you guys have warmer weather. We don't, so a lot of our gardening starts inside and it's brought outside later on.
Oh, yeah, no, that does make sense. But I like that you said that it was miniature gardening. And I feel like that's my kind of thing right now.
Yeah.
I love that. So Judy made a fairy garden. I would love to put glow in the dark things in it.
Yes, yeah, that's cool.
Right?
I just
So the
made
wedding
this for my garden. It's like the
Yeah.
wooden, has like, I got to put Siller on it still though, but
Oh,
yeah. A little
cute.
windmill. Yeah.
Oh, that's cute.
Yeah.
Very nice.
So I painted that today. I have to put Siller on it though before I stick it outside. But yeah. So,
That's cute. I like that.
yeah. I do some fairy garden, but mine I put actually in my garden.
Uh-huh.
So
Mhm.
mine
Yeah.
are a little bigger. They're not the miniature. They're like
Okay.
about 3 to 6 inches of stuff, usually.
Mhm. Yeah.
Gotcha. Gotcha. Yeah.
You can use a lot of things that are around your house,
Yeah.
which
Yeah.
is nice.
I have, where are they? I have some like glow in the dark, like little, I don't know if anybody here is familiar, but I'm a huge fan of Japanese anime movies from Miyazaki. And they're just such beautiful movies that are all about Japanese folklore. And some of the creatures in there are little wooden, like forest creatures.
Oh.
Yeah, forest gods. And I have some little like glow in the dark miniature versions of those guys, and I can totally see myself making a fairy garden with those things.
I love Miyazaki.
Yeah, seriously, some of my favorite movies out there. It's back here somewhere. I found it. This little guy, he's glow in the dark. Ta-da!
Oh.
I love these guys. Yeah, I've got like 5 more of them. They all glow in the dark. Okay, so the next part, we will be adding water to our pictures. And if you're on this step, then that's great. But if you're not, that's also just as fine too, because this part, it can go as quick or as slow as you want it to go. I have to look for my water. Oh, here we go. I found some water. Cool. For a second there, I was thinking, I know I got some water, so where is my water? Turns out I'd gotten drinking water, not not this water. Okay, so that's okay. There's some of this water here. We don't need a lot at all, so put that back there. Okay, so if you have a brush, then that's great. Please go ahead and use the brush. However, if you have cotton swabs, then please use that for swirling out the water. If you happen to use cotton swabs, I do recommend doing one side per color, one side for each color, if you use that. If you use a brush, then no need to worry about that. You just have to clean it off. Now, if you're using a brush, I recommend using either a filbert, So this kind or a round. So something that's more pointy. Either one will do great for this project. And all you have to do is go one color at a time. I normally recommend doing my light colors first. So for me, it's going to be the yellow, and it's going to be the green. And all you have to do is swirl around it. Now, you will have some colors right next to each other. So if it happens to be a dark color next to a light color, then maybe watch out a little bit. But really, you just want to do one at a time. And this might actually take a little longer than I thought. And again, you don't have to stay within your lines. You can expand them. It looks really nice if even just a little bit of the neighbor, the color that's right next door, even if it overlaps just a little bit, it looks nice still. I would just be a little bit cautious about spreading it. If it's a dark color, you can see I'm spreading the purple a little bit further out. So again, just do one at a time. And you can see right here, this one rock. I literally just have one rock like this. I had noticed probably about halfway through filling everything, I'd noticed that this one green rock, I hadn't colored in the center. And so I was just kind of lazy. I had the yellow in my hand, and I just thought, okay, I'm just going to color it in. I'm just going to add a layer. And so I already know that yellow and green mix very nicely. So it's totally okay that that one looks a little bit different. I encourage you guys to take liberties just like that. If you feel like getting creative with it, then run with it. Go for it. In fact, out here, I'm going to make this one a little bit bigger, maybe a little more oval shaped. I'll probably do the same with this one out here. Make that a little more oval shaped. Let me show you what it looks like with a cotton swab. So if you don't have a brush, then same technique, kind of tap some water into your cotton swab and pick one and swirl it around. Same technique. Once again, dip it in water a little bit. You may need multiple cotton swabs, even if you're just using one color. It just kind of depends on you. But that's all you do. Same exact technique. Swirl it around. Make it a little bit bigger if you need to. And personally, I find it kind of nice that I can still see some of my marker brush strokes from when I was actually putting the marker on there. Like, I feel like that's kind of nice. So my next color, I'm going to go for that pink or that peach color. I feel like that's probably the next on the list in terms of brightness. And just keep on going. I'm going to switch back to brush because I like using brushes. Do I have any questions?
If you accidentally, well, because I'm using a Q-tip with water.
Mhm.
If I think like on one of my colors, I think I put too much water on it and it kind of like really faded to where you can't really see it. Can you recolor it, you think? Or
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
So like it really faded. I would wait, wait like maybe 5 minutes or so,
Okay.
maybe a little more than that, and then recolor it.
Okay. Yeah.
Yeah.
That was the first one, and I think I got a little excited with the water.
No, I get that. You're good. So yeah, I would definitely wait for it to be very dry, which might
Okay.
actually take a little longer than 5 minutes.
Okay.
Yeah. It's kind of a tough thing to gauge though. So if you want, I might actually be able to go in and wait a little bit and show you how it's done.
Okay.
Yeah. Now for me, I'm going to go as fast as I can because I want to be able to take those color pencils out. So I'm going to go faster, but you guys take your time. Remember, we also want to give a little bit of time for this to dry too. We're going to be putting that pen, just sort of outlining each and every circle, plus putting a little bit more in between in all this little white space. So we just want to have time for that to dry. And look at that happy accident right there. I accidentally went over this with the turquoise and the yellow. And I love that green. I think I'm going to intentionally do that. Yeah, I do encourage you to intentionally go over some of these colors. They just look so pretty. This is one of those projects that I would encourage you guys to maybe try it, like do it again on your own, but with music on. And maybe even next time, maybe even try to fill up the entire page, maybe. Maybe get a little bit more creative with the types of rocks that you put in. What was that?
Music you
It was a little, the voice was a little bit, or the audio was a little bit crackly. Can you repeat yourself?
Yes, I say what type of music you like?
Oh, yeah. Ooh, that's a good question. I have a whole I have a whole like painting playlist that I put on that has a whole bunch of things from like Kimbra to it's usually more ethereal music. So some Kimbra, I have some Miyavi, I have what else? A little bit of like like Korean indie rock. I have a little bit of like lo-fi in that playlist. Depends on my mood too.
Yeah, because I have Alexa beside me, so we can ask.
Yeah. Yeah, it's a lot. I even have like an entire car playlist, and that car playlist has like so much stuff, everything from like pop to K-pop to lo-fi to a little bit of rap.
You like from the 80s?
Yeah, I like some bands. It just depends on the songs. Tears for Fears, Everybody Wants to Rule the World. I love that song.
No, I don't know what it is.
What about you, Merly?
I don't know that song. I like I love blues.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, I love BB King. It's my favorite one.
Nice.
Yeah. I like soft rock. I like from the 80s. And also, I'm from the 80s, 70s.
Yeah, me too.
From my time.
Yeah. I like old blues too, like BB King, John Lee Hooker,
Oh, yeah.
T-Bone Walker, all them. Yeah, I love the old blues. So,
Alexa, play BB King.
oh yeah.
Is she refusing to play music?
Did she say who's BB King?
Alexa, play BB King.
Sorry, I'm having trouble connecting to the
Yeah, I know.
It looks like the issue.
That's okay. I wouldn't want YouTube to censor us or Zoom to censor us.
Oh,
I think they scan for
Sorry,
songs.
not connected to internet.
That's okay. I think they scan for songs. So as much as I would love to
but
play
it's
music.
ridiculous because yesterday was playing, so and today is not connected.
Aw. Oh,
Yeah, I was
well.
able to kind of darken that color once it dried. So
Oh,
that
you
was-
did?
Yeah.
Okay, good.
yeah. So
It worked
yay.
out.
Yeah, that
Yay.
worked. Yay, you can see it now. Yeah.
Have you been able to use your watercolors yet?
I was going to tonight, but I've
Uh-huh.
never did the markers with water before, and I thought that would be interesting to do. So
Yeah.
yeah. So I decided to go with the markers this time just because I never tried it before.
Yeah.
So
It's
I
kind
like
of
to
a
play. Yeah.
it's
kind of
it's fun to, experiment with things like that.
Yeah.
I'll be honest, like whenever I was going through a lot of my MS symptoms and trying to figure out how to do art again, it was really helpful to have cheap materials. So like Crayola is one of those brands that you can just find anywhere. And it was really helpful to have those kinds of materials, but like try and use them in different ways, just to make them more interesting. Because at least for me, and normally when I think of crayons, I think of kids, or you think of markers, think of kids or colored pencils and stuff. So, for me, I didn't want to like use my good art supplies on on projects that I consider therapeutic, healing kind of projects, because it's a little intimidating to, to not really do as well as you think you should do in your head. And here you are using, expensive supplies. So it's just kind of like a relief, I guess, to know that the things that you're using are not really going to cost you too much in the long run, So I don't know. That's why I started using these kinds of materials, is because I needed to explore and create things on my own. So that's always why I use cheaper materials too, because I want everyone else to feel like they can do it and make it interesting, at least semi-interesting, you know. So I'm on.
And I've never been into abstract art before, but taking your class, I'm really taking a liking to the projects we've been doing.
Yeah.
Oh, thank you. Thank you. That means a lot. That means a lot to me. Because I'll be honest, like whenever I was, going through that MS stuff, I couldn't really draw very well. It's like if it wasn't like the hand issues kicking in, it was cog fog kicking in. So drawing it still is difficult. It still is difficult to do it, but I'm glad that you enjoy this kind of abstract thing. So I'm on the part of the painting where I want to just let it
up and it end up being beautiful, you know?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm on the part of the painting where I kind of just want to let it dry and just kind of leave it alone for a bit. So I kind of want to fan it too. Just kind of leave it alone, do its thing. That way we can go over it with the pen. Just kind of let it do its thing. Does anyone want to show us what you have so far? Okay, if not, as always. Merly, I see you holding yours up.
Yes, because when you drop, so they splash all over. So that's what I did.
I like it. I do see it though. We'll go in and we'll put those circles back in there. we'll put them back in there. Oh, I love it. I love the colors though.
Oh, thank you.
Anyone else? Anyone feeling brave? Dun, dun, dun. No, that's okay. Okay,
If I hold
Merly.
mine up, it'll crumble.
Okay, Merly, we're going to take a second here and we're going to see what alcohol can do to this. So
I'm not responsible. It's at your own risk.
What was that?
It's at your own risk.
Yeah. And honestly, it's a lot better that way because you can just kind of see me fail if that's what it comes to. Okay, so I have 91% rubbing alcohol. So
yes,
I'm going to use,
yes.
Yeah, I'm going to see what it looks like if I use a cotton swab. I'm just gonna pick one. Here we go. I can clearly see my hatch marks before the alcohol. I do see a little bit of blending. I don't know how well you can see that. Like it's not really spreading the color very far, but maybe that's because I'm using a cotton swab. I don't know. Let's see. Let's switch it up a little bit. I'm gonna use
a brush, maybe.
Yeah, I'm trying to figure out what brush I want to use because whatever I use with the rubbing alcohol, it's gonna be ruined. So it's got to be like a cheap brush. Yeah, right. Yeah. Don't worry, I got my brushes. Okay. Let's see. Let me do a different color. I'm gonna do this guy down here. It's spreading like I have a lot of alcohol on there.
You see that one better.
This
So
one.
is it? You said this will ruin your brush?
Yeah, the rubbing alcohol will ruin your brush.
Oh,
Yeah.
okay, good to know.
Yeah.
Mine spread it.
Like,
Fix that.
let's see what it looks like dried, because I can still see my hatch marks there, but it's faded a little bit though. Like, I do think it's working.
But maybe with the medium it's better. I want to try the medium.
Yeah, I bet you the medium probably is better.
Yeah.
Let me
That's my
do,
brush.
let's do the one next to it. That's not too bad.
true.
Although for this one, the one next to it, I feel like the pink kind of is taking over and making it turn orange. So it is
Yeah.
mixing. And here's,
Oh,
yeah, so it did mix a little bit. And then here's that first one that we tried. So it did
Yeah.
blend a little bit. Do you see that?
Yep.
This one right here.
Yes.
Yeah, but I do feel like the medium would help a lot better, help a lot
Yeah.
more. It's possible that maybe different different color pencils would produce different results too.
Yeah. I like to use the oil base.
Oh yeah, see, that's not something I'm familiar with.
Yeah. It's easy for the slides, so they wrap easy.
Oh yeah. I used to use a little bit of oil, not a whole lot though. I'm not like an expert
Yeah.
or anything. So Sharon, I hope you don't mind us going off track.
Not
Like,
at all. At all.
with I like to experiment and show everybody. You guys can see me make the mistake so that you don't have to.
So I had to do 2 of them because the first one I put too much water on it.
Oh, gotcha.
So yeah, y'all just keep talking.
Yeah, you're good. You're good.
And I didn't have watercolor paper, so I'm using regular paper, and it, yeah.
Yeah,
So
did it wrinkle a little bit?
It did.
Yeah, it happens, but that's
Yeah.
okay. Cardstock will do good, or anything a little bit thicker would do good too.
Ran a little bit.
So this just depends entirely on you and your project, but it may be dry enough for a pen to go on top of. So mine, I can still feel a little bit of wetness, but it's not going to be completely dry for a long time now. You can use a ballpoint pen, or you can use this kind of like more artistic pen. For the original project, I just use a regular ballpoint pen, so super easy to find. This one, I find it really relaxing to be able to go around each and every piece, each and every circle, and just outline it. That's all you have to do, outline it. And you can find ways to overlap some of yours, like for example, if you have these right here where the colors are already overlapping, just kind of choose one to be on the top and do that one first. So these 2 blue ones can be on the top, so I'll do those 2 first, and then this next one will be underneath it, so I can choose to go and just sort of mentally connect the lines sort of out here. You can also do something a little easier, and honestly, I prefer this next method but it's optional. You can overlap your lines too. See that? I just made a whole bunch of circles and completely had no regard for overlapping at all. And personally, I feel like it was a lot more fun that way. So it just completely depends on you. Only later can you go in and fill in the rest of it with those much smaller circles. These much smaller ones are going to be, honestly, those are overlapping, but yours don't have to be. So for me, I am going to disregard any lines and just kind of complete the circles. I just like the way that looks. And they just sort of happen to become blobs, and I'm going to run with it. They started out as circles and became something else, and that is absolutely okay. You'll find that in a lot of the projects that I create, it often morphs. It's never the same, and it doesn't have to be the same. I wish you guys could hear the noise of the pen.
You're right. Just drawing circles around these is very soothing for some reason.
Right? For some
It's
reason.
just really relaxing.
For some reason, I can't explain it. And if you would like a challenge, either for now or for later on, you can try to create like a perfect circle by hand. That's definitely a challenge. It's definitely a challenge.
You're fine.
Yeah, I used to be like the weird kid that would always sit in the corner and try to draw a perfect circle or like a perfect line, not talk to anybody. That was me in school. But it's fun that way.
And look at you now, talking to a bunch of people on the internet.
There you go. Right? How the tables have turned. I don't know. I love seeing the way the colors overlap too. Like, it's, as I'm going over it with circles, I'm noticing more of those color overlaps that I didn't notice before. And it's just kind of oddly satisfying to see it all. All right, I think I got them all. So for anyone who wants to make that filler, so these tiny little circles here, those are actually circles with a spiral in the center. So you can do that, or you can just make them just circles. Anywhere you like, really. Like I've got a big space here, but I can easily fit several of these guys in here. So circles or egg shapes with spirals, which I can actually put later. So I've got a bunch of circles right in there. And the spiral just turns it into filler. but really interesting looking filler. So you make the circles first, and then you make the spirals. They can be elongated to sort of fit the shape, the overall shape of your circle. Or you can keep them as circles. You can fit another one in there. You could probably fit like 5 in this spot. Okay, 4. Fit 4. You can put some out here just to make it a little bit more even. So here's kind of what it looks like without the spirals. It's a little bit more bubbly. You can make a smaller one right in there. Maybe I can squeeze 2 of them in there. So that's kind of on this side what it looks like without the spirals. Here's what it looks like with the spirals over here. I can't tell which one I like more, honestly.
I like without.
Yeah, without.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's pretty cool.
Honestly, I might put like a mix of some with and some without.
Yeah. Yeah.
Just to, I don't know, we'll see. I'll just put these in here. It's just oddly satisfying to put, like to finally fill in all the space. I was a little bit uneasy about my choice of color, but I like it now. Oops. There we go. So while you guys are doing that, I'm going to put up a picture of next week's activity. And then we'll all share. So let me bring it up here. If I remember correctly, and tell me if I'm wrong, Casey, I think we're doing pointillism. Yes, Pointillism Galaxy. So let me bring it up real quick.
Yeah, that's a pretty cool one.
Yeah, pointillism. Let me show you. I hope you guys like it. And you guys, you don't have to use the colors that I used. Although you certainly can. You can get creative with it as always. Here it is. Now, just a little, just a little warning, okay? I wanted to create a pointillism picture for you guys. But then I remembered it drives me insane. It drives me crazy.
Oh, wow.
Oh, wow.
It's tiny. It's really small. It's like
Okay.
this small. So I do recommend having perhaps like a credit card or something you can trace around. For the shape that I have, I happened to have like I don't know where it is, it's gone now, but it was a little color swatch, like a paint color swatch that I was just lying around, and so I just traced around it. So anything small that you wouldn't mind doing pointillism inside of. So yeah, any kind of shape you want. It can be round, it can be, you know, rectangular, triangle if you have a triangle shape to trace out. So yeah, I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 colors in there. So whatever colors you've got will work just fine. But yeah, like I said, it drove me crazy because I'm more of like a a quicker artist. But if you can get into the zone, I think it will work very well for you. And I'll teach you how to overlap colors, layer colors in very specific ways so that you don't have too much of a jumble of colors in one section, if that makes sense. Because it's very easy to go a little overboard with the stippling and not really get the colors just right. So I'll teach you how to layer the colors in a way that makes sense. So I hope you guys like that one next week.
So
When
what?
did you use the markers?
Yes, markers.
Okay.
Yeah, markers.
I'm
So
excited for that one. That looks like fun.
Yeah.
good. That makes me excited.
It looks like challenging.
It will be a challenge, yeah. Who would have thought that dots would be a
Dots can
challenge?
do that, really.
Would anybody like to share? If you're still
Sure, I
working,
will.
that's okay. Oh, yay, Sharon. I'm going to spotlight you real quick. Whoops.
Well, there's
There. There you are. Oh, lovely. I love
Yeah.
that.
It's kind of messy.
It's okay.
Nothing's-
It looks good though. Like I love the attention to detail you made.
Yeah, I can share mine too.
Sure. Tony, I'm gonna spotlight you
Let me
as
see.
well. There you are. Oh, lovely, lovely color choice. I'm loving that. I'm loving that gray there too with everything.
I like your signature.
Yeah.
I know. The signature is a nice touch.
I can share mine.
Yeah. Okay, let's see. All right, Brandy. Here you are. Oh, it's a heart shape. That's creative.
Heart.
It was
That's good.
accidental and I went with it.
That's really
Worked
cute.
out. It really worked out.
I think I picked the same colors as you.
I was about to say, I think you did.
It do look good.
Love it.
Oh,
Who's next?
Don't mind.
Yeah, Veronica. Let me put you up here. There you. Wow, I'm loving your lines.
Is that a marker or pen?
I use markers
Yeah. Okay.
and
I'm loving
a
that.
marker, a black marker to make the circles.
Yeah, I like that.
Yeah.
Oh, there's something about those lines. Like I'm loving that, and just the watercolor effect in the background. I'm really loving that. You should put your signature on that later.
Yeah.
It's really good.
I had a lot of empty space. I kind of went crazy with the little tiny circles,
Oh man.
but I like them a whole lot.
well,
Yeah,
good.
you I love that you went crazy with it. The
Like,
pink
okay.
really.
Okay.
Easter eggs.
I added my signature.
Oh yay, yay, Veronica. You have a nice signature. That's awesome.
Oh, I thought I'd show
Woohoo.
this. It's kind of related, but it was all circles. I found it online to copy. But
Oh,
That's cool.
yeah,
Love that.
see.
circles. And I thought it would be really annoying, but it was actually pretty fun.
Wow, honestly, like that's kind of a in between this project and the next
Yeah.
project.
Yeah.
That's really nice.
Cool.
Who's next?
Everyone.
Oh yay. I see Judy. Okay. Put Judy up here. There you are. Oh, I love it.
Yeah.
Honestly,
I got too much space in there.
well, I was
used
about to say I like that.
gray. I like the gray in it.
I do
The gray.
too. I
I do
like the
too.
gray, and I like the mix of like having a little bit of space in there, but also having some spaces where you have the tiny little rocks.
Yeah.
I like that a
I
lot.
don't know whether I should fill it or not.
I
You
say
know, how
keep
you feel
it.
like space is good.
Hmm. I love it. And Susie, I saw you. Let me
Yeah,
put you
I,
up
I
here.
haven't finished the spacing yet.
Mm.
But I have a lot of space, but I haven't done the
Lots of
space.
space.
I
Yeah.
like it though. I like the different shapes, and I love that you have some areas that are much, much more dark than the rest of it.
Yeah. So
Can
I still
see-
need to, I don't know if I should do the little circles or put more stones in there, I guess.
Yeah.
There's a lot of space.
Honestly, I like it though. They remind me of like actual individual tumbled stones.
Oh.
Super cool, guys. Anyone else?
I'll show mine.
Yeah, Marianne, let me put you up here. Okay.
It's still drying.
Oh,
Oh, yeah.
fancy.
Everybody's so different.
That-
It's like,
That
Right?
really looks
Yeah.
like the stones to me.
Yeah.
Mhm.
yeah.
It really does.
Yeah.
Like I'm loving the turquoise and like the whole color scheme is really nice.
This was fun.
Yeah.
Yeah. Very relaxing.
Good. Awesome. Was that everybody? Yeah, I think we showed everybody's work. Woohoo! You guys did a fantastic job. As always, I absolutely love teaching you guys and being here with you guys.
Thank
I
you.
love, yeah, I love that we've kind of just like formed our own little group, you know. I love that we
Yeah.
can do this every single week.
Ew.
You guys are the best. Yeah, any closing thoughts? Yes, that's it, huh?
I missed the last two classes. Do you post them?
Yes, they get posted on the foundation's YouTube channel. And I think both of them are up as of today. I think so. So if you need the link, you can just reply to your registration email from today and I'll send you the link.
Oh, great. That's what I'll do. Thank you.
Perfect. Yes, they are always recorded, so even if you miss one, that's okay.
That's what I'll do. Thanks.
Yeah. All right,
Or
guys.
if you just want to hear Hannah's soothing voice in the background, just play them anytime.
Thank you. Thank you very much.
I will do that too.
You guys have a lovely, wonderful evening,